Hi everyone, good afternoon, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this video. My name is Zoe. Welcome back to my channel. And today's very exciting, very requested, very procrastinated. I'm going to be talking about all about my role on the DCP, being a spa hostess. So this is probably gonna get long. I'm gonna try not to get too long because it's cold out here, but grab some popcorn, grab a beverage, let's chat. And then just a side note, if you see me looking down, I have my computer right here. I have notes of what I want to talk about, or else I'd just be going all over the place. So okay, so I wanted to start off by talking about basically what the role is and what my interview was like, what my experience was like. So my role was a spa hostess, which is a premium service and it falls under recreation attractions. It is a specialty role. Like if you are offered a role in quick service, you could be working in specialty beverage, which is Starbucks. So that's the other specialty role on the DCP. I believe that spa and Starbucks are the only ones, but I may be wrong. So I believe the only way that you are able to get those roles is if you have experience that relates to that, or if you request them specifically. So for me, I did work at a spa for about 6 months prior to coming to Disney, and we talked a lot about it in my interview, how that experience could come and transfer to Disney, and how I would be able to take what I know already about the role and use that to my advantage at Disney. And then I know that a lot of the girls I worked with, there were only 6 of us total in the spa role. Some of them had spa experience, and then a few of them, I remember one of them specifically got a call from a recruiter asking her if she would be okay with the spa role. So it definitely is a very specialty role. It's a very close-knit family. We still talk in our group chat every day, and it's just a very special role, and you should be very honored if you get it. And that's why you're probably watching this video, because there's no information about it anywhere. Okay, so now that we've gotten into the background, I wanted to start off with the training. So first of all, when you get your arrival itinerary as a spa host or hostess, your location is going to say the Grand Floridian, which is one of the main locations we work at, but there are 6 locations we work at. There are 2 main locations and then 4 fitness center locations. So the 2 main locations are the Grand Floridian and Saratoga Springs. Those are the 2 that you're going to be trained at and the ones that you'll work at primarily. A lot of people got fitness center shifts maybe once a week, once every other week. I worked at Yacht and Beach twice during my CP, which was only 6 weeks long, so take that with a grain of salt. One of the shifts I traded for, and one of them I was actually scheduled. So your training is going to be all at Saratoga and the Grand. You're going to have 2 days closing. It's going to be 1 day learning how to close Saratoga, 1 day learning how to close the Grand, and then 2 days opening. 1 day opening the Grand and 1 day opening Saratoga. And then your last day of training is going to be your deployment day, which was the best day. It was so much fun. You go with one of the coordinators / trainers and take the spa van, and they drive you around to all of the locations. So our 4 other fitness center locations are Yacht and Beach Club, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Wilderness Lodge, and Coronado Springs. You go, you do a basic overview, learn where all the main components are, how to open them up, how to close them up, where all the keys are. Because when you are scheduled to shift at those locations, you're going to be the only hostess there for the entire day. So when I worked at Yacht and Beach, my shift was from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and I was the only host there for the whole day. And then a coordinator will come for you to have your break, of course. But it's pretty simple working at those locations. They're not too busy, they're very relaxed, and they are called fitness center locations because they don't have all the amenities that we have at the Grand in Saratoga. And then your last day is going to be called your Kappa day. So it's going to be the day where you have your test. You have a written test. It wasn't very long. I think it was like 30 questions. It was all multiple choice. It was kind of tricky. I thought it was going to be easy, and then we practiced it. We did a practice round on my deployment day, and I got most of the questions wrong. So we went through all of them and made sure I knew what I was doing. And then there is also a performance assessment. So Kappa stands for knowledge assessment, performance assessment. So the knowledge part is a written test, and then the performance part, they have a checklist. They make sure you know how to do everything, all the different parts of the role. So the training is very straightforward. Everyone is so helpful. Everyone is so nice and wanting to help you succeed, so don't be nervous about the training at all. The hardest part for me of the training was knowing where to go backstage. My first day was at Saratoga and I didn't remember how to get backstage, so I just walked in through the front door of the spa because I didn't know where else to go, and it was totally fine. They don't care. It's your first day. No one's gonna be judging. All right, and the next section I want to talk about is our costume. So when I first saw the image of our costume, I was like, there's no way that's what I have to wear. Like, that is not cute, not stylish. And I gotta be honest, it is not the most stylish costume. It's very basic, very neutral. Part of the reason is that since we work at 6 different locations, it blends in with all the locations, so you don't have to have a different costume when you work shifts at different places. It's also because your costume doesn't want to distract from the experience. If you're wearing something frilly, colorful, crazy, it's going to distract from the guest experience, and you want them to feel relaxed as possible. So I'll have a picture of our costume here, the one that I normally wore. We had these like very loose pants, like lounge pants. They literally were like yoga pant material. They were so comfortable. I was always able to find pants that fit me, but the shirt was always an issue. I think that since there were very few spa hosts and hostesses, when people got the size shirt that fit them, they would just hold on to it. So I either wore one that was a little snug or one that was a little big. So we had the short sleeve shirt, and it's more of like a tunic. The medium one, when I wore it, was really big on me, so it would go down to like my knees, which honestly I didn't mind. It was super comfy. And so there's the short sleeve tunic, and then there's like a 3/4 length sleeve one. I didn't really wear that one that much, but it's an option. And then we have this light green cardigan, which you can throw on. It's not that warm, so most people didn't really wear that, but the option that people really wore, especially at the Grand because it was really chilly, it was our winter coat, and it was tan and brown. I'll try and see if I have a picture of it to show you guys, but it was so comfy. I was so sad when I had to return that to costuming because it was so warm and cozy. It was probably the best coat I've ever had. So if you're watching this and you're nervous because you got the spa roll and you don't want to wear that costume, trust me, everyone else is going to be jealous of you. I don't care if they have the cutest costume on earth. Ours is more comfy. Alright, and the next section I want to talk about is hours. So our hours are some of the best in any role. Honestly, you're going to hear me say that a lot in this video. Spa roll is the best role in the CP. I don't care what anyone says. So our shifts were always 8.5 hours. Unless you were mid-shift, it was 8 hours? No, it was 7 hours. So mid-shift was 7 hours, regular shift was 8.5 hours, and then if you were at one of the fitness centers, it was a 9-hour shift, but it's not that big of a difference. So all of the shifts, you would get an hour break. Unless you were mid-shift, the 7-hour shift, you get 45 minutes. So our hours were always 8 to 4:30, which was opening, or 10:30 to 7, which was closing. Or on the weekends, the opening shift was 7 to 3:30 because we opened a little bit earlier. And then the mid-shift was from 11 to 6. And the only time that the hours were different was for marathon weekend, which we only had one of them while I was there, but we are open until 8 instead of until 6. So I was closing on marathon weekend and I worked 12:30 to 9. So that was really nice because I got to sleep in and we still didn't get out that late. But marathon weekend is super busy, so it's all hands on deck, everyone prepared for when it's marathon weekend. Alright, and the last section I wanted to go over before I get into some questions that I received is what our work duties were. I'm not going to go too in depth, but basically there are 2 positions when you're working. I know in other roles you're like rotating between positions, but for us you basically just like pick whether you want to be front desk or backstage in the lounge. So front desk is pretty self-explanatory. You're checking in and checking out all of the guests, making sure they had a great time, calling people to give them the guest tours. And then if you're working backstage in the lounge, you're going to be giving guest tours. The guest gets a tour of the facilities whenever they check in. You're going to be making sure the lounge is all stocked. We have a bunch of amenities like shampoo, conditioner, shower caps, brushes. Make sure those are all stocked. Whenever I was in the lounge doing that, I always felt like a little fairy, like making sure everything, like if a guest went into the shower and used a shower cap, as soon as they came out, I wanted to make sure that there was a shower cap there. It was like they never took it. And then you're also going to make sure there's no dirty towels laying around. Make sure there's plenty of fresh towels, of course. I think that's about it for the 2 positions. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's honestly so much fun. I think the guest interaction is definitely different than working in the parks, but it's a lot of fun because the guests, especially when they leave their service, they're so relaxed, and when people are that relaxed, they want to talk a lot. So when I was at front desk, people would be telling me so many stories or talking about their services, and it was so nice to just get to hear them talk and see how excited they were and happy they were after their visit with us. All right, and now I got a few questions from the Facebook group that I wanted to go over with you guys. And of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down below. I know this is such a special role and it's so like under talked about. That's not really a phrase, but it's not talked about a lot, so no one really knows what the ins and outs of it are. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them below or message me on Instagram. My Instagram is always linked in my description. But let's go ahead and get into these questions. The first question is, what was my favorite location? My favorite location was Yacht and Beach Club. Honestly, I only got to work there twice, and both times something crazy happened, especially since you're the only host there. It sometimes can get stressful trying to balance everything. Even though it's not too busy, there's still like a lot of opening and closing duties to get done. But I loved working there because it was so chill, and the location is just so beautiful. Yacht and Beach Club are some of my favorite resorts, so I just loved being there. I loved the vibe there, and there's always my favorite stylists and massage therapists were there, so it was fun to get to talk to them in between their services. Yeah, I just really liked working there. And the next question is, did you have to learn the whole menu and talk to guests about procedures? So we were not responsible for memorizing the menu. We were responsible for being familiar with it, and when we had downtime, I would try to look over it and make sure that I knew pretty much everything about it. But guests would ask a lot of questions, basic questions about because we had a bunch of different kinds of massages, a bunch of different kinds of facials, so they would ask like, which kind of massage should I get, which kind of facial I should get, and sometimes they would ask questions about like salon treatments and nail treatments. Once I had a lady, we have to do confirmation calls. That's another part of the role. They'll pull someone to do confirmation calls every day, so you just are going to call every single appointment for the next day and make sure they're all set. I had a lady when I was doing the calls once, she was asking me all these questions about her nails, and her cuticles were bad and she didn't know if she should get gel. I was like, don't worry, we're going to take care of you. You don't need to stress at all about that. So even if you don't really know the answer to the questions, the therapists and the nail techs and hairstylists are always willing and happy to help you out. And sometimes it can be better if they help you out, like if someone's asking about a specific product or a specific part of a facial. Sometimes it's better to have an esthetician talk to them because you don't want to be giving them wrong details and then it might be bad for their skin. So we definitely be familiar so you're able to answer the basic questions, but we didn't need to stress about knowing very specific answers. It was more of just being able to guide them on their way. Next question, what did you think when you got the role versus when you started working? When I got the role, it was so weird because I had the offer letter and it said spa. It just said spa. I had never seen that in my life. I didn't even know it was a thing. I thought that if I got spa, it would just say recreation attractions. So I was just confused, and I was searching and searching YouTube, Google. I was in like the 10th page of Google trying to find information. I could find nothing. So I was very confused. That's why I'm hoping this video can help the next round of spa CPs so they're not as confused as I was. Yeah, I was just confused. I wasn't like unhappy with it. I was excited. I was just very confused and I didn't know what to expect. But now it's the best role in the entire planet. I feel so lucky that I was able to work at the spa because you get a little bit of everything. I mean, you get everything from guest relations to custodial and housekeeping. Like, you get to do so much. There's so much guest interaction. It's such a multifaceted role and it's so diverse. You're responsible for so many things. It's the best. I can't say that enough, but it's the best. And it also is a really hard to get role if you're just going for part-time or full-time. They have to go through 3 interviews. So it's really cool that they even offer it to CPs. Okay, Next question, did you work with other CPs? So yes, there were 6 of us total, including me. The other 5 girls all got there earlier than me, so I was trained all by myself. But they're all so awesome. We're all such good friends. I'll put a picture of them here. We hung out all the time. We would have family dinner nights. We'd go to the parks together. We went to Singing with Frogs all together, and we do group FaceTimes like once a week now. One of the girls is a yoga instructor, so she's trying to get together like a yoga class for us. They're amazing. They're all such sweet girls, and I feel so lucky that I was working with them. It's not always all girls. We definitely have guys working in the spa. There just was only girls for this round of CPs. Okay. What were your favorite and least favorite parts of the role? So my favorite part was honestly everything. Like there's hardly any, it took me so long to figure out what would be my least favorite part because there's hardly anything I can complain about. I loved the locations. Getting to work at different locations was so exciting. It never got boring or like stale because you're always hopping around. At the Grand, it was always so busy. At Saratoga, the location is amazing. The space is huge. The spa, that's our biggest location, and it's so huge. It's so beautiful. I loved working at Yana Beach. Like I said, that was my favorite location. And even though I didn't get to work at the other 3 locations, they're all amazing. I wish I could have worked for them. But yeah, everything was great. The costume was great. The hours were great. I was just loving life. But my least favorite part was sometimes it was hard because even though we were at a Disney resort, sometimes it did feel like we were just working at a regular spa and we were not at Disney and we were away from the magic. And it was hard because there wasn't a lot of space to create magical moments for people. We were able to do like special discounts and things like that, and then we did have a thing where we could make, like if a little girl was getting a nail treatment or a hair treatment, we could make her the spa princess and have a big coronation session, but I never got to be a part of one of those. I'm so sad. I wanted to do one on my last day, but there were no little girls that came in. So that was hard, you had to be really creative about how you wanted to make the magic for people. And it was more of just a test of your guest service and your hospitality because these are really expensive treatments. You can't really give them out for free, unfortunately. Like maybe someone in quick service could give a free dessert. So you have to be really creative about how to make the magic. And anytime I would start to feel down or feel like I wanted to be somewhere else, there would be a little girl that would come in to get a makeover to look like Cinderella, or there would be an older woman who would come to get her nails done. We had a lady who was celebrating her like 90th birthday, and she came and got her nails done and they made her the spa princess, and it gives me chills just thinking about it. Like the simplest thing can make people so happy. We would have huge families, especially at marathon weekend. We had a lady who, I think she was like 55 or 60, and it was her first marathon and she ran it, and she was trying to like downplay herself when we came in. We were like, you are a superhero, like that is so amazing. And it's just the little things like that, you get to learn a lot about people and try to use those things to make it special. Like if someone's on their honeymoon, someone just got married, like use those little details about their life to try to make their time with us more special. So that, I guess I just turned a negative into a positive, but yeah. So that is all the questions I had, and I think that's all I wanted to go over with you guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some light into what being a spa hostess is all about. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave me a comment, message me on Instagram, try to track me down somehow. I would love to talk to you, give you any advice about working in the spa or even application advice. And I hope to see you guys all very soon. Have a great day and stay healthy.